Hi there, it's Timothy Dolan, and I'm going to go over some iconic cinema that definitely influenced my outlook early on and has consistently informed me in terms of understanding the political world, society in general, and framed within the idea that we are in charge of our own collective fates, and that through proper policy, looking over the long term, you can come up with less bad outcomes to our collective futures. So I'm going to focus today on Terry Gilliam's Brazil. This is the first of actually a whole series that I'll be doing. It's such a densely packed movie. It's probably the most densely packed movie I've ever seen in terms of its symbolism, overall message, and depictions through its imagery and its language of a current dystopia. One thing that people get wrong about Brazil from the very outset is that they think it's a future dystopia. It is not that. Terry Gilliam makes that very clear, as you'll see in a clip that I'll be showing. Right at the very outset of the movie, he's saying somewhere in the 20th century. So he's really talking to me, and through the title, communicating that we're looking at literally Brazil. And it was certainly Brazil in the 1960s and 70s with its aspirations for development. And at that time, there was a strong influence of centralization. It was the political regime of choice in most nations of the world, frankly. It could be soft, as you see in the Western democratic socialist European models, or it could be more overtly ruthless and despotic, as you see in most what we tend to call third world countries. So let's just disabuse ourselves from the outset that Brazil is somewhere in the future. This movie speaks to us here and now. It speaks to a mindless consumerism that suggests that we will all be happy as long as we have the illusion of choice. And that's what consumer society is all about. 5 different varieties of all the same orange juice. And that's a key for smiling, happy faces everywhere. So the first 3 scenes you're going to see, and this is in the first 3 minutes of the movie. It opens with kind of the clouds, the dream world, which will be referenced later in the movie through the protagonist, and then goes right to a commercial, again, for central services, which is the idea, again, of centralized government, centralized control, distribution from a single source, and then you put a gloss on it. You put a veneer of variety, simply by changing the colors, maybe the finish. But the fact is, it's really the same stuff. So you have that image, and then finally you have the quote-unquote terrorist bombing, which is never resolved anywhere in the movie, who these terrorists are, whether they're people who are thoroughly disgusted with the system and see through its veneer, or if it is something that the government itself is creating in order to maintain a collective unity. That gets conspiratorial, but the fact is that the quote-unquote terrorists are never really identified anywhere in this movie. Then finally you have, through a screen, through the media, a deputy director of information services, a government ministry, which anticipates the idea that information in information society is the key to power, that whomever controls information and its display and its interpretation is in control. So these are very key early themes to Brazil. So I hope you enjoy these opening clips. Like I said, focus on that. The final scene you'll see is the sterile office of a bureaucrat, a bare-walled place that he becomes annoyed at a fly, which to me symbolizes nature, chaos, a little bit like Toto in The Wizard of Oz, the unforeseen circumstance that has to be eliminated and illuminated with extreme prejudice, as you'll see in the actions of this particular character. And then from there, the rest of the story unfolds, much as, again, in The Wizard of Oz, Toto is running away and being caught initiates the entire story of The Wizard of Oz. So the bug stands in for Toto, I suppose, in that regard. Again, enjoy, and we will be returning to other key themes here as we move through the depictions in the movie. One thing I should acknowledge, these are YouTube clips. They are widely available. You can look it up, just keyword Brazil movie, and you'll get these same depictions. So you don't have to depend strictly on what I'm displaying. Although I think my interpretation might serve as a useful guide as you make your own journey through the movie. As I said, I think it's one of the most laden with symbols as a political allegory as you will see anywhere. Thank you.
Hi there. I want to talk to you about ducts. Do your ducts seem old-fashioned, out of date? Central Services' new duct designs are now available in hundreds of different colours to suit your individual taste. Hurry now, while stocks last, to your nearest Central Services showroom. Designer colours to suit your demanding taste. Ministry of Information, Deputy Minister Eugene Holman.
Good evening, David.
What do you believe is behind this recent increase in terrorist bombings?
Bad sportsmanship. A ruthless minority of people seems to have forgotten certain good old-fashioned virtues. They just can't stand seeing the other fellow win. If these people would just play the game, they'd get a lot more out of life.
Nevertheless, Mr. Helpman, there are those who maintain that the Ministry of Information has become too large and unwieldy.
David, in a free society, information's the name of the game. You can't win the game if you're a man short.
And the cost of it all, Deputy Minister, 7% of the gross national product.
I understand this concern on behalf of the taxpayer. People want value for money. And that's why we always insist on the principle of information retrieval charges. It's absolutely right and fair that those found guilty should pay for their periods of detention and for the information retrieval procedures used in their interrogation.
Do you believe that the government is winning the battle against terrorists?
Ah, yes. Our morale is much higher there. We're fielding all their strokes, running all of them out, and pretty consistently knocking them for six. I'd say they're nearly out of the game.